Hey, remember the year 2015? It was only 10 years ago, but because CERN accidentally created a small black hole using the Large Hadron Collider in 2016, time dilation means that we have actually experienced 200 years in the previous decade. So it's understandable if you don't recall what happened that year. Allow me to remind you. In 2015, Game of Thrones was still good television, Twitter was still fun, and Barack Obama was still president. The good old days, right? For you, maybe, not for conservatives who were furious about all of that. Well, not Game of Thrones. I feel like that was a pretty bipartisan show. It was mostly that they hated Barack Obama, less for his policies and more for the fact that he is a black man in a powerful position. Thus, when the Obama administration announced that they would be launching a fairly substantial military training exercise to better prepare the nation's troops for maneuvering in and around civilian populations overseas, people like Alex Jones lost their fucking minds. Jade Helm 15 involved about 1,200 special ops troops, mostly Green Berets, running exercises in low-population small towns around Texas, Arizona, Florida, New Mexico, Utah, and a few other states. Some troops played occupying forces and others were insurgents. The entire exercise ran for 8 weeks over the summer of that year. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the military, the U.S. military especially, and I would be annoyed if they were coming to my town to LARP around in Hummers and hit each other with water balloon grenades or whatever. But that's about the extent of my emotions on the subject. Conservatives, however, went insane. They insisted that this was not a training operation at all, but rather a nefarious takeover of red states by Obama, who they said would institute martial law as soon as the troops were in place. Alex Jones insisted that Jade meant China, because I guess China was going to take over too, and Helm was an acronym for Homeland Eradication of Local Militants. Texas Governor Greg Abbott announced that the conspiracy theorists were right to worry, and thus he ordered the Texas State Guard to closely monitor Jade Helm activities so that Texans know their safety, constitutional rights, private property rights, and civil liberties will not be infringed. Stuart Rhodes, founder of the far-right militia Oath Keepers, said that the operation was designed to weed out politicians and military members who would refuse unconstitutional orders to use military force against U.S. civilians. A violent extremist and former Marine named Pete Lanteri started a group called Counter Jade Helm that organized militias to identify, follow, and potentially fight troops. 3 men were arrested before they could enact a plot to trap and murder soldiers in South Carolina. The far-right blog Before It's News started a popular rumor that the takeover involved the Obama administration taking over old Walmarts, building military bases underneath them, and connecting them all via a vast network of tunnels. And most importantly, famous fighting man Chuck Norris weighed in with a fiery editorial on World Nut Daily, decrying the operation as both sad and bad. When Jade Helm ended at the end of August 2015, of course, nothing happened. The special ops guys went back to their military bases, and the conspiracy theorists found newer, shinier conspiracies to dream about. But I remember, as do many of the people who study the seeming hypocrisy of these far-right lunatics, because we are currently, right now, in the year 2025, seeing the President of the United States invade cities with the U.S. military, ordering them to use force against civilians. Trump started by sending the National Guard and then 700 Marines into Los Angeles a few months back, ostensibly to augment and support the protection of federal functions and property, whatever the fuck that means. He got relatively little pushback on the national stage, despite California Governor Gavin Newsom suing over this obviously unconstitutional order. So Trump escalated recently by declaring a crime emergency in Washington, D.C., and using that as the impetus to mobilize the National Guard there and taking over the city's police force, an act that has never happened before in U.S. history because it is so wildly unconstitutional and fascistic. Also, not for nothing, but violent crime in D.C. is down 26% from last year, which was down 35% from the previous year. Overall, crime has actually increased, but that's only if you include one specific address in D.C. that has a much higher than average output of criminal behavior. An address on Pennsylvania Avenue. I'm talking about the White House. Everybody else already made that joke, but if I didn't do it here, then that's the only thing that would appear in the comments. And I just want to encourage you guys to mix it up down there. Come up with something fresh. So this is the thing. This is the exact thing the Jade Helm 15 conspiracy theorists warned us about. But where are they? I decided to look. As far as I can tell, Governor Abbott has yet to comment on Trump's invasion of DC because he's too busy whining about Texas Democrats trying to stop him from destroying democracy in Texas by gerrymandering the last few blue districts. The Oath Keeper's Stuart Rhodes has been similarly quiet, though it seems like he's been laying low ever since Trump pardoned him this year from his 18-year sentence for sedition thanks to the insurrection he helped plan and enact on January 6th of 2021. Pete Lanteri of Counter Jade Helm opened a gun range with a Facebook page where he liked to post about murdering communists, but he's been silent too ever since Trump's inauguration. Chuck Norris has also been silent on the issue and most other issues, but he is still alive and he does have a cameo, so feel free to ask him about it if you want to drop holy shit, $450? No thanks. Before It's News deleted their 2015 article about the Jade Helm underground military Walmart tunnels. I was intrigued by one of their latest posts titled Trump's Military Executing Largest Military Op in History. It's a brutally boring 2.5-hour long live stream where three men start talking about Trump suggesting once again that he wants to suspend elections from now on in his appearance with Zelensky. I had to watch for way too long to confirm that, yeah, they actually do think that Trump is planning to become a dictator. They do understand that it's unconstitutional for him to be doing many of the things he's doing. They do think he's mobilizing the U.S. military to get his way, but they love it. They're super happy about it, actually. On the front page of InfoWars, I once again got a little optimistic to see a video in which Alex Jones says he's 100% vindicated by recent events. But it turns out that that's just about how Russia was right to invade Ukraine or something. But while my search was unable to turn up anything on Alex Jones, condemning Trump's takeover of DC, I did happen upon one right-wing conspiracy theorist who actually is concerned. A comedian named Tim Dillon, who I had never heard of before, but he's previously yucked it up with J.D. Vance, so he's got quite an audience. And here's what he had to say recently.
They already have all your information in D.C., and now they just get to decide what is and isn't over the line. That should scare everybody. You're fucking nuts, dude. If this doesn't scare you, you're nuts. All of these things that Alex Jones, and I've had Alex on, I like Alex, but all these things that Alex Jones was like worried about when I listened to him in the late 90s, early 2000s are coming to fruition. And he, I don't know where he is on all of that stuff, but like, I know he's a big fan of Trump, but like, this is everything Alex Jones always talked about. Military in the street, the FEMA camp, the tech company that monitors everything, the surveillance. This is all of that. I mean, not to sound like a fucking nut. This is everything a crackhead. And I don't even mean a crackhead like crack, but a guy smoking weed in a room with a fucking black light and a fucking, insane clown posse tattoo on his arm. I'm thinking of a very specific guy I was friends with. But this is everything that guy would have talked about. He'd be like, bro, there's going to be military in the street. They're going to put you in jail for your fucking thoughts, man. If you just say them, bro, you're going to be in fucking jail. There's going to be a fucking company that monitors everything you do, bro. Like, this is literally the wet dream of every conspiracy theorist that has ever lived, and it's happening now.
Holy shit, we found one. A right-wing podcast bro comedian who is so close to getting it that it's stuck on his shoe and he's wondering what that smell is. This is incredible. Tim, let me help you out. The reason why Alex Jones is so quiet about this now is because Alex Jones was never actually worried about the U.S. federal government becoming a dictatorship and crushing the rights and freedoms granted by the Constitution. Alex Jones was worried about Jews and Black people and immigrants and women and LGBTQ people holding positions of power and obtaining equality. That's why he wouldn't shut up about government overreach when Barack Obama was in office. And that is why he's happy that Donald Trump is in office. That is why he is a fan of the guy who is currently taking over cities with the military. I truly think that the Epstein stuff has driven that first little wedge between conspiracy theorists and Donald Trump. So let's hope more of them wake the fuck up and realize they are living through Jade Helm 25 before it's too late. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you loved the video, please subscribe. And if you think the world could use more videos like this and you happen to have a few bucks laying around, head to patreon.com/Rebecca and join an awesome community of nerds like the people whose names you see on the screen right now. Thanks.